Hey, I'm exhausted. School be kicking my ass.
Listen, let's talk about it. What you got going on over there? School, podcast, all kinds of stuff.
It's a lot. It's a lot. I am a busy woman, but there is no rest for a black woman in this world.
Not at all. No rest for the weary and the. I'm trying not to ever use the word in my regards, the strong. Hate that word. I hate that word in regards to us.
That seems like the word of the century for us. We're strong. We're
Oh, you're
strong.
so strong. I don't want to be.
I want to be soft.
Very
I
much
want to
so.
be pampered. I want
That
to
part
be.
too.
I want to relax.
Cared for.
All of the above. All of the above.
Absolutely. So I think that's why we're probably here today. You read the romance and I write it. So hey y'all.
Without y'all, I think I would go bonkers.
Hey, I love it here. I love this community and yeah, I think that's what we're doing, changing the narrative that number one, as black and brown women, we can indeed be strong.
Yeah,
However, we deserve love in all its forms too. And so
that
let's get
part.
into it.
All right. So I want you to introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about yourself and a little bit that you may want to let us know before we start the interview.
Absolutely. Well, hi everyone. No, first of all, thank you for having me.
No
I
problem.
have, I mean, there's so many questions I have for you. This might turn into my interview of you this time around. But anyways, I'm Cher Terais. Thank you for having me on your platform. I am a black multicultural and what I like to turn or call wanderlust romance author. So I write
Mm,
stories that center us, black and brown women, and the men who will chase us around the world to have us. So
mm.
every story set in international locations because we're everywhere. Our stories deserve to be told on an international global stage, and that's what I'm trying to solve. I'm solutioning for that.
That's absolutely what we need. So I'm gonna just dive on in. You said wanderlust. That is
Mhm.
an interesting term for how you approach your books. So what is wanderlust? How did it come about? And what are like some of the concepts in which you go into with your books? You gave us a little
Absolutely.
tidbit, but I want to hear more.
Yeah, for sure. So two big passions that I have in this life of mine. One is I love the concept and notion of black love. So let's start there. I already talked about our stories deserve to be told on multiple platforms, every platform, not
Mm-hmm.
just categorized in select few platforms, all the platforms across the world. So that's the first part. But my other passion is traveling this little bitty world in which we inhabit. And it's a very small world, whether we know it or not. Sometimes we don't have access or resources to get to go see it when we want. So
It
I
does.
said, let me write the stories that merge my two passions, but also the things that I feel like need to be put on a pedestal. Black love and romance, number one, but also world travel. So you'll see me all over TikTok in different places of the world. I just
Yeah.
got back from Turkey, so hopefully y'all see
Ooh.
it.
I've heard good things about Turkey. I
Oh,
heard
honey, for very many reasons.
I heard really good things
We're gonna
about
get
Turkey.
into it. Turkey and their Turkish men. And let me reiterate a few things. I'm in love with black love. But one thing I loved about Turkey, honey, those men are in love with black love too.
Ooh, you are the second person who said that to me who just came from
Listen,
Turkey.
I was a little bit overwhelmed and shocked, and some very good looking men out there in Turkey. So if you're interested in that sort of thing,
Mm.
very attractive.
So you are a storyteller. You are a storyteller to the utmost because I remember reading what was it, Mephemara?
I remember your review.
That was such a unique book in love because it was emotional for the woman. It was
Mhm.
emotional for the man, and it was a different outlook on how love comes together, even though it's not perfect, but it
Right.
comes together. So, how do you go about in your storytelling when you come up with your stories about love? Because people have different definitions of love. But
Absolutely.
what is your definition and how you come up with those concepts?
I'm not even sure I have a fast and firm definition of what love is. I know it's an action, and
Mm-hmm.
I know it's an affirming thing, and I know that it feels good if done right, and can feel wholly horrible if not done right. And it can mess up some minds, but it can also create beautiful worlds. So I don't know if
Yeah.
there's a hard and fast definition for love. I think it's something we all strive to have and to just be.
But you also, in your book, you also had them finding love within themselves.
Oh yeah, that's where it starts.
So why is it important, especially as Black people? You know what I'm saying? Why is it important when you're dealing with Black love and Black romance to put the self-worth within self before outward loving?
Yeah, I think it's because, and I can speak only for me, but I'm sure this will probably resonate with a vast majority of us. I don't know if I was taught how
Mm-hmm.
to be loved growing up as a young Black girl. I was
Mm-hmm.
taught to be extremely smart. I
Mm-hmm.
was taught to be well educated.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I was ever taught by a single person, at least in my community, what authentic love is, and not have to work for it, and not have to ask for it, and not have to, change and modify yourself to prove that you are worthy of it. I didn't
Mm-hmm.
know growing up that love is just love. You should be loved because. I didn't know that the dumbest question in human history is, why do you love me? Why can't the answer just be because? Why does there have to be a reason for love if we are supposed to be the embodiment of love? So
Yeah.
I'm learning it in real time as I'm
Mm.
writing these books. And so I think me learning it, I'm really putting what I'm learning on page. And it's
Mm.
really my love letter to myself and every little Black girl who ever looked like me,
I love
whoever
that.
liked me, whoever dreamed and aspired for more. Like,
Yeah.
I want that, what I write, my wanderlust romance, to be a love letter to us.
I love that. Now, you also have love in the sense that even though it's Black love, it's love that transcends.
Yes.
And it's love that caters to being an assertive woman
Oh, yeah.
and caters to being in touch with your emotions as a Black man.
Yes.
Why is that?
Because it's necessary. I think one thing that you asked earlier that I just want to expound on, when I write these stories, I write it always from dual perspective. That's from the main female, of course, and the main male character. And I truly believe that a lot of romance today focuses heavily on the woman's version of love. But we've got brothers out here too that need to learn how to love too. And I think our books that we write can be lesson plans for them on teaching them how to love us. And so I think it's equally as important to write the male perspective as it is the woman's perspective. So I try to balance that in my writing. So yeah, you're not just gonna get a typical, hey, boy meets girl, they fall in love, and they're gonna have sex and make a baby. That's not what you're gonna get in a Cher Terais Wanderlust romance. You're gonna get two real characters who are dealing with some real life things. And they're going to go through hell and back to get to the happily ever after. They're still romances, but they're going to get to a happily ever after. But I want them to be relatable
Yeah,
to not just the love aspect either, but the life aspect.
that part. That part right there. Do you now? You have Black romance, and a lot of times people have said Black romance is too urban, or it's too contemporary, or is, oh, I can't deal with it because it's not my experience. Even though
Right.
this is fiction, I always say fiction has realism,
Yep.
and so I feel like a lot of times Black romance gets a bum rap, whether it's Black romance or interracial romance. It gets a bum rap due to the fact it's a Black author, not because of what you wrote, but just the fact that you are a Black author. So, what are some of the ups and downs and grievances or just, things that bothered you when you was trying to write this Black romance and put it out there to everyone?
So I'll tell you a few things that I had to get over myself in going into this. I knew that, first of all, I've always been a lover of the written word. So let's start there. And I've always known that there were categories and genres. And, sometimes we have to make our work fit into a genre in order for it to get mass appeal. When I started writing Bolly Blue, my very first book, I kind of knew it was going to split genres. I knew it was going to probably be a viewpoint into Black love, multicultural romance that maybe hadn't been seen a lot before. I'm not saying that I created it, but again, I like to write on a world stage because that's where my life has taken me. And by the way, shout out, Vet. I saw that you are a fellow veteran. So you know what it's like to go around the world. We see ourselves around the world, whether it's in the military, whether it's expats working somewhere else. I mean, Black love is effervescent and it definitely applies to the world stage. So I kind of knew going into writing my books, I wanted to focus on that aspect, showing love and highlighting it on the world stage. And I kind of knew that it was not going to fit nicely into urban. It wasn't going to fit nicely into just Black romance. It wasn't going to fit. It definitely wasn't going to fit into interracial romance. So I said, let me blaze my own trail and make what I think would be called wanderlust romance. And it embodies all of it. And so that's how we got here. But again, it's a ode to my passion for specifically Black love, which can look like multicultural love because the diaspora is pretty big. Somebody asked me the other day, hey, why are your characters mixed? And I had to point out, like, well, all of them aren't, but some of them are, just like some Black folks are. Go look at your ancestry and see it's a lot all over the place. And I think that has to be respected too. And I think it's a beautiful thing. First of all, I love the pure Black. I would love, to be able to represent that. But I also have to respect the fact that if I go look at my own ancestry DNA, it's a whole lot of stuff in there that makes me the Black woman that I am. So again, I have to write to that and I want to respect it and I want to write it realistically, right? Without fetishizing.
Yeah. I'm gonna ask you to do a favor. I'm gonna need you to mute real quick because I'm echoing and I don't know why it does that.
Let me see. I'm muted.
All right, and now come back. Let me see if it's still echoing. Is it still? Yeah, it's still echoing. Okay, do me a favor. Just drop down, disconnect, disconnect, swipe up out the app, and then come back in, and then I'll put you back in because this app does it.
Okay, I'll be right back.
Okay.
All right.
Hey, everybody. Yeah, I heard it, Sister Harlem. I was like waiting till she finished answering the question. And hey, Melanie. Hey, E. Yeah, I was just waiting for her to finish the question. That's all. All right, there she go.
Better.
All right. I don't know why is it still echoing on my part.
I don't know. It's you know what? It's raining pretty bad here. It might be on my end.
Let me see something real quick. Okay, is it still? Yep. Okay. We're gonna work with it. So when I'm talking, just mute it. And that way, I think that's where the echo goes. So all right. So is there echo? No. All right. So I'm going to ask you another question. You have a new book that just came out called Tempest and Tulin. This is about to be my airline book that I am going to read while I'm flying to Houston tomorrow. So can you tell us more about that book?
I'm coming off of there we go. All right, so Tempest and Tulin. First of all, let me just say I'm so excited about this book. I it was a hard book for me to write, and not because of any one thing other than the fact that it's some MMA fighting going on. So I had to do a lot of research to try to figure out how in the world do you write a fight scene. That's another thing that I believe in as authors. You know, we have to expand on our craft in any way we can. And I had to stretch myself to learn how to write those fight scenes and the names of the words, and thinking about how deep do I need to go in naming these moves, because they come from Brazil and from Africa and from Asia, in many parts of our Asian brethrens and sisterns, right? So I had to figure out how deep am I going to go into really describing this stuff. So it was a balancing act in trying to write that. It became way more fun. I will say I had to put the book down for a little while, because now on the emotional side of all the things, it's a kind of an emotional roller coaster. However, in a very fulfilling way. This book explores some pretty deep themes. I'll say essay, but not on page. So there's trigger warnings, but they're not on page, and it's not even the main character that it happens to, but it explores the emotional depth of how a family is affected by something so traumatic. And so our main girl, Delia, she figures out a way to deal with her stuff and wants to fight the world. So she's quite literally fighting for her life in this book. And then enters Okio Bamdi, ex-MI6 agent. I keep saying it, Black James Bond type. Idris Elba was the mental picture I had of this character as I was writing it. And yeah, he comes in and he doesn't come to save her though, but he does put a mirror up and makes her realize that she is pretty badass. So we go through their journey. They both go through a very explorative phase in this very short time span that they are together. So it's fun, it's sexy, it's funny, it's a little bit spicy, a lot of action.
I like that.
I like that.
I hate I don't know whether it's I have to start this live all over again or what, but we're gonna work with it, because I'm determined to talk to you. Now, you say you were a fellow military person. I know I was in the Marines and the Army, the longest years of my freaking life. But how does your being in the military help you and guide you into this path of writing, keeping to your goals, and keeping yourself grounded?
Absolutely. So I would be absolutely lying if I said the military gave me discipline. It did not. However, what it did do was open up my pathway to being able to travel the world. So I saw that you also were a veteran in Afghanistan. I believe you said Enduring Freedom. So Afghanistan, Iraq. I lived in the Middle East for 3 years, and I would say the military gave me my springboard into cultural immersion and wanting to know more about cultures around the world. So from the Middle East, Iraq, Kuwait, Bahrain, Qatar, as we say here in the US, that was my springboard to Europe. It also gave me the pathways into Asia, the Middle East is Southwest Asia, but it made me explore Asia a little bit more, allowed me to rather. Australia. So yeah, the military was definitely a springboard into what you get in the Wanderlust romance series. So.
Can you give us, who is this book for? Who is this book for? Who was this book for? Not just Black women, not just Black men. Who was this book for? Was it for yourself, or was it for a specific niche of a person?
I think I wrote it for, again, anyone who is, first of all, in love with diverse love, Black love, multicultural love, just that vein of love, and putting it on a platform, to be honest with you. But I also wrote it for the world traveler. I wrote it for the young lady, the older lady, the young man, even the younger or older man who is interested in exploring love in all its many forms across the world. And if you can't go to Mexico, that's much easier to get to, however, than Bali. If you can't go to Bali, if you can't get to Kenya, then you could pick up one of my novels and exactly see yourself in these locations and be truly immersed in the culture and the love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Uh, I wanted to ask you, how was it growing? You told us a little bit about you not being taught about love growing up. How was it for you growing up and finally finding that love with and seeing it healthy? You know, because a lot of times I saw it healthy, but I saw it also unhealthy. So as someone who was younger, I didn't know the difference of unhealthy and healthy. So how was it you growing up and writing your first book? How did you pour into that?
So it's you know what, it's kind of a mixed bag. It's a complex story to tell. When it comes to love, I had two parents in the household, so I have no idea what it's like to grow up in a single parent household, right? And sometimes, people would be like, "Oh, well, my dad wasn't here or my mom wasn't here." Well, sometimes that might not be a bad thing. My parents, even though they were loving, they didn't quite know how to love. They got married at an early age and had children at a very early age, 5 of them to be exact, that they had to figure out how to feed and take care of and make sure that, we got what we needed to get as a foundation, which didn't leave a whole lot for them to explore what love was either. So I learned a lot about love in books and reading. Unfortunately, back then, there was no Eric Jerome Dickey yet. There was no Beverly Jenkins yet. When I started delving into romance novels, there was Danielle Steele, Rosemary Rogers, Jackie Collins even. I don't know if y'all remember those, but that's where I learned the notion of what it felt like or what it should feel like to be loved on. And so I had to go through those books. That's also another part of why I love the international setting too. But it kind of, those books sparked the question for me, where can I get some of this? And so again, having two parents in the household that it wasn't a very loving household. I mean, again, we were taken care of, but there was not a whole lot of love. And to be honest with you, I didn't have a whole lot of examples of a beautiful love story in my life, even aunts and uncles. So yeah, a lot of it came from books, having conversations with my girlfriends, actually being in relationships. So I had to learn it as I go.
Mm. So could you tell us more about your characters in your new book?
Yeah. So with Tempest and Tulum, Delia again she's struggling with something, and there's a heavy family dynamic in Tempest and Tulum, and she does have her family with her. She does have some loss, and she does have love, but she does not. She has an extreme amount of guilt as well, and so she's very guarded and hidden and doesn't trust a lot. And so where she does have this family that does love her, they kind of like, "Oh, girl, you'll be okay. Just do what you're supposed to do." And she has to figure out, how to take care of herself mentally and emotionally on her own. And the way she does that is kind of puts up a guard. And she's perfect on the outside, to be honest with you. Smart, engaging, but on the inside, she's rather tied into a knot and very chaotic. And the only person who seems to see this is Okio. And you'll quickly learn that he's a bit tied up into a knot on the inside too. And so where they don't become each other's saviors, again, they become each other's mirrors. And that's kind of the relationship, how they start. I will say the book starts out with a fight sequence. She attacks him and not the other way around, and that's their meet cute. And there might be a little bit of a choking sensation going on in the beginning, and that's kind of how they sparked their love affair that does ensue.
She out here doing rear naked chokes.
It's a little bit of pressure going on.
Girl. So, where do you go from here? You said this is going to be a series, or is part of the three books? I mean, the two books you've done previously.
Yep, the three books make up the Wanderlust series. So you have Bali Blue, Mess on the Mara, and now Tempest and Tulum. So the series is complete. I'm already working on book 4, which is going to be a part of another series. So this book, this new series, is going to bring us home, actually, to South Georgia. So it's kind of a reverse Wanderlust romance, I think you could say, because it starts out in Paris. And again, it comes home to South Georgia. It's going to be full of Mustangs, muscle cars, and cowboys.
You speaking my language. You had me at muscle cars and cowboys. You speaking my language.
There might be a 69 Chevy Chevelle up in there.
With the stripe down the center?
Good old American muscle, you know it.
Oh my God. So tell us more about you as an author. I see the echo, it just went away on his freaking own.
Yay! Okay, good.
Tell us more about you as an author and being that the political stance and everything that's going on right now. Mm-hmm. And I say this to every author that I talked to since the election and before the election. I said that even though we had a lot of rights that was on the ballot, literary rights were on the ballot, whether it be from libraries or independent authors, it was on the ballot. And you have people like the Moms of Liberty trying to take away that from us. It's not so much as Trump. It's not so much him. It's the radical people who don't want us to have freedom of speech. So what are your feelings as an independent author? Are you hybrid or are you independent?
I'm independent, totally.
As an independent author, what is your feelings and your stance on that? Because it's literacy in the Black community, the POC community is so important and so relevant because we don't have storytellers anymore that do it like they used to do it back in the day. Yeah. So what is your thought process on that?
So I think we're all going to have to become griots again like we were back in the day. That's what it is. And I truly am a hype man for indie authors at large, not just for myself, but all of us, because number one, we have something to say. The South got something to say. Like we have something to say, and I think we are saying it in such a way that we are transcending not only boundaries within genres and subgenres, but borders. And so our stories are relevant. They need to be told, but they also need to be told on all the platforms, like I already stated. How I feel about the book bans, keep writing. We're going to keep writing, and we may have to pull our forms off of some of these major platforms. You know, I'm a big proponent of creating your own platform, your own websites, making sure that you are connecting with the readers who want to consume what it is you're putting out. And there is community for all of us. So we have to believe that, and we have to do the work to go and get in front of these communities. But I think that there's also power in the pen. And of course, they wouldn't be doing a ban or trying to ban certain things if there wasn't. So trust in what you're doing, find community, and make sure that you can continue to write and get this goodness out to who needs to read it, hear it, see it.
So with that being said, you said you had some questions for me. A lot of times people don't ask me questions. So
look, I be doing my research. Now tell us about this Prime stuff you got going on. I remember you. It was you. I promise it was you.
My who?
Amazon Prime.
Oh. I have a distribution deal with Amazon. Basically it's just like if you're an independent artist and you go through a major label, that major label will put your stuff on their platform to be sold because they have the platform and the means to get it out there to the masses.
Sure.
So I have that through Amazon, and so it'll be through Amazon Video. So my podcast, it'll be at a live studio, and it will be filmed at a live studio with cheap production company stuff, and then they will put it on their platform, and it'll be on Amazon Prime Video, and you can watch weekly, interviews.
Listen, that's what's up. I saw you post that not too long ago, and I said, you know what? This is what needs to happen. These are the platforms. We need to be viewed and again put on different platforms, all the platforms. And, I think Amazon is realizing they have a need for content that resonates. So hats off to you. Congratulations on that.
Thank you. Yeah, it's a work in progress because, like I said, I'm very busy. So, that's going to take me a lot of planning, getting authors to location. It's going to be a lot of stuff and but I'm up for the challenge, just not right now while I'm in school.
I understand. How much longer you have in school?
2 more semesters.
Oh, girl, you got this.
I'm tired because I already got a degree and I decided to take my merry little butt back to school.
Hey, sometimes sometimes we just do the things that we want to do, and sometimes they're necessary. So again, hats off to you. So
yeah. And I want to say this to you. I appreciate you so much because you go hard with what you write and the way you write. And I love the way you write because I love the duality of emotions from a Black man or a Black woman. I don't care if you're multicultural, you're still Black. You know what I'm saying? You're still Black at the end of the day. And you do it in a way that it doesn't come off like a stereotype.
Right.
And I love that. And I love that you travel. I love any author that is out here traveling the world, especially indie authors, because y'all don't get y'all flowers. Y'all don't get time for yourself because y'all constantly are trying to put out work. And y'all are constantly dealing with a lot of bullshit on the back end, dealing with being an independent author. So I really appreciate you. And I just love that you continue to showcase love in the way that it's so real that it makes me feel all okay.
I love it. And so I got a couple of things I want to announce. Hey, Bella J, I see you in the chat. And I saw self-publishing guru, Miss Carla DuPont, in there as well. Hey, y'all. Look, I have a few things going on that are author-specific as well as reader-specific. So the people who are in the chat right now, except you authors, I got something else for y'all. You know what? Let me know in the chat. Just drop a 1 in the chat if you're interested in receiving my newest book. I will pick one of you. Actually, if you will pick one of them randomly, I will send one of them my book. And if you can capture their email and their mailing address, I will send it out to them. Just let me know. I see you. Thank you.
One.
Please. That's a lot of ones. That's very good. Thank you. Yep. Randomly select. I won't even be involved. Pick one of the ones who are dropping the ones, and I will get you guys a free book out there to get. And so awesome. The other thing I wanted to say to all the writers out here, number one, I am a part of a wonderful community of writers, accountability partners, just people who we are all indie authors who big each other up and keep each other motivated. And so one of the things that I also wanted to do in the vein of Wanderlust Romance is to be able to bring together not only a platform that allows us to go and experience the world together, but I also want to do curated writing retreats for other writers. And we come together and we write together, we grow together, bond and build community. But bigger than that, we work on our craft together, right? And social media is a huge challenge for us indie authors. So a part of that itinerary and that plan for those writers retreats is to get together and bring in some expertise so that we can build content around our platforms. And so Yeah, I want to do that. There is a link on my link tree in my bio. You can actually sign up if you want some more information. Please, I encourage you to fill that form out. Let me know who's interested, because once it's ready to go, we're looking at April, first week of April 2025 for that first writers retreat in the Bahamas. And so that's the second thing I wanted to talk about. The
Can I
third is,
become a writer?
so I want to do writing retreats too. And so I'm working on getting the plan for the first, I'm sorry, not the writing retreat, the readers retreats. I'm working on putting that together as well. So yes.
I slip in somebody's bag for the Bahamas.
Come on through, come on through. I think it might be, again, we're still heavily in planning, but we got to get this plan out really quick. We need beta readers, a couple of good beta readers to come too, because as we are writing as authors, it would be really cool to have some dedicated beta readers who can give feedback instantly. So
I'll give you something.
mhm.
Send me that information, and I will make a video. Once I land in Houston tomorrow, I
Okay.
will make a video talking about it, and a promo video or something, and just throw it out there.
Absolutely. Last but final drop that I'm going to drop for all of y'all readers and writers. I'm starting my own private subscription community. I have 2 books right now working on, well, 3 books right now. The first one is already on Audible and is in audio. I'm working on the audio narration for the second and the third book. And of course, the fourth book will be coming out sooner rather than later. And I'm not going to drop an audiobook. I'm going to do serialized audio monthly for these books. So behind the private community, you get to work and see these narrators work. We're already working with one. We're pulling in another, and we're trying to get a group and a community of narrators to come in and narrate specifically for my books, for my community. And so that's going to be fun. It's in the works. We're dropping that at the beginning of 2025. So stay tuned for that. A part of my membership community is my very own travel platform, Wholesale Travel, where I have worked with aggregators. Again, I'm real about this traveling the world. You can catch me probably in, I don't know, Jamaica soon. But anyways, I feel like we as Black women, brown women, we need more opportunities to see and explore the world. And yeah, I want us to be able to do it. I want luxury travel, but affordable prices. So my platform is totally wholesale travel prices. Cheap Caribbean can't beat the prices. Expedia can't beat the prices. Booking.com cannot beat the prices. And I make no money off the travel that you book. I do have to charge a subscription price for it. So, and it'll be very affordable. So more information about that too.
Damn, you are a jack of all trades.
2025 is about to be an amazingly fun year.
Can I ask you, where's your book signings?
So, you know what? I've done a few vending events, and I'm not sure I'm cool with the vending events, but yeah, all of my books that are bought through my website are signed. So, what you got? You think I should be doing these signing events?
Yeah, ours, me and Shannon, the Boozy Book
The
Tour.
Boozy Book Tour?
Yeah.
Okay, so admittedly, too, I be heads down, and every time I see one of the events come up, I'm like, damn, it's sold out, or it's gone, or I ain't gonna hold you. I ain't gonna lie about it. I feel like I miss out on so much when it comes to these book events.
Well, we have our 2025 cities up. So we have Raleigh,
Okay.
we have Orlando, Florida, we we have Arlington, Virginia, we have Chicago,
Mhm.
and we have Las Vegas.
Okay. I know why y'all not coming to Atlanta.
Good. Atlanta ain't in my ministry right now. Mm-mm.
Listen, I again in the vein of trying to keep up. How many book? I don't even know how many we have in Atlanta right now, and I
It's
feel like
gonna
they
be
are like
like a good
back
10 in Atlanta.
to back to back to back, and I'm like, okay, we
Mm-mm.
we reading down here.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's too many. So it wouldn't have did us or the authors any good to
yeah,
be on top of each other doing events.
yeah.
The reason why we do it the way we do it, we look at the dates of other events, so we'll never be competing with other events because
That
readers
makes
will be
sense.
able to, move around to whatever event they want to go to, not have to be like, oh man, I miss out on this if I go to
Yeah.
this.
So let me see. You said Raleigh, Arlington, Orlando, Vegas. When is the Raleigh one?
That is in May.
That's my birthday month. Mm. I'll send you a
Actually,
message.
not Raleigh. Is it Raleigh or Charlotte?
Either one.
And I forgot. We have you having so many, but it's affordable. Um, Authors usually have to pay like $75 to $95 for a table.
That's not bad.
It's Raleigh. Okay, it's Raleigh. Um, we give you dinner. We give you drinks. We give you a photo area. We give you prizes and giveaways and VIPs and all that stuff.
And we were already talking about all the things that you need to be big up for, and this is yet another one.
Well, it's the brainchild of me and my friend down here, Shannon. It's just we wanted something that was affordable for the authors, but also it's small enough that it doesn't give readers anxiety over these big giant events.
Right.
And they get to sit down and break bread with their favorite authors or new authors and have conversations. I mean, I ain't gonna hold you. Our conversations be wild at these events,
Oh,
but
I love it.
but we you get to sit down, eat dinner, and talk, and then we'll have like a conversation about sex and books, book bays, whether male, female, poly relations, stuff like that. But it's a very fun conversation that we have.
Yeah, for sure. I love that. And I love the fact that you are working to bring the community together. And also, on that note, you read very diversely.
Yes,
In my
yes.
interview of Stormy here, what's your favorite genre?
I started out with interracial romance.
I love
Um,
that.
I started out with interracial romance, but I've always been a paranormal horror type reader. So paranormal is like anything paranormal. I don't care if it's paranormal suspense, horror, romance. I love paranormal through and through, but I always wanted to read something that with characters that look like me or people of color. I have no problem reading vampires that are white because I love J.R. Ward. You know what I'm saying? So, and I like Laura Live. She makes shifter romances. But coming over to this side of Booktalk, I get to explore people that look like me.
Yes.
So I keep my reading diverse when it comes to POC and Black, but I also read white authors as well. So I don't read them as much because I don't like foolishness with a lot of authors when they're because it's been a lot of racist, condescending type things going on with white authors. Hey,
Look at him. You can't be in here with this conversation. You got to go back that way. Go find your mommy. And then throw something at me. This little joker.
it's been a lot of trouble with a lot of white authors. So I have to do more research with these authors, and it's a lot. And
Yeah.
sometimes I just don't feel like doing all that, you know. So yeah, diverse reading I love doing. It's just I have to be cautious with who I review and put on my page because I hate getting inboxes where it's like they said something off the wall and it's detrimental to our community, and I'm just like, God damn, the book was good.
And it seems like it's happening more and more frequently. Like a certain level of notoriety or maybe it's not even the notoriety. Maybe it is the having a team that you think is insulating you, which makes you feel comfortable to say and do these sometimes outlandish things. I don't know what it is, but it seems like it's happening way too frequently.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? To be honest with you, I like the fact that you read diversely. However, I feel like I'm going through a spell where if at least 50% of the cast is not black or brown people, I don't want to. I have no desire at this point to watch it. I have no desire at this point to read about anybody who does not look or experience, life like I experience it. It's just been too long. I feel like that we have crossed barriers to be inclusive, and we're not being included equally. And it's 2000. We're going into 2025, and I don't know. I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with it. I personally just don't have a desire for it.
When I first started Booktalk, I was reading a lot of white books. Because they were the only ones that were really reaching out to me, like, hey, could you read my book, blah, blah. But then I started to put myself out of that area and put myself with people of color. And that's when I started to see more black authors. A lot of times, a lot of readers will say, well, I know, like my friend Shannon, she loves dark romance. And this year has been a year of a lot of black authors writing dark romance.
Love that for us.
But she has always read white authors because she couldn't find the dark romance that she finds with the white authors and the black authors. Because a lot of times, a lot of authors will say, I don't want to go that, dark. Because they're scared how people are going to perceive them. Sure. Whereas their white counterparts will write all the way to the depths of hell. Yes. It's like it's hard. It was harder for her to find those authors, but now she's starting to get those authors. So she's starting to read more black authors because they're literally out there. But the problem is a lot of times in genres, even with fantasy, paranormal, they don't want to go a certain route because they're scared of what our community is going to say, like, oh, that's strange. But they will turn around and read those same topics and tropes in the white authors.
Oh, yeah.
So
it's a double-edged sword, and it's about, I was going to say community, but that's not the word. How we were socialized and that was not acceptable, at least for my age, But now I would like to read some dark romance with some dark-skinned folks in it.
Yeah, you don't read Cher C. or what's her name? Antoinette Sherrill?
Okay.
Or E. Bowser? My God.
Who was on here. I saw her earlier.
Yes.
Oh, no, she's still here.
E. Bowser and her urban erotica. That shit, that ain't even love. That's fucking and a lot of craziness.
It's a place for it. There is a place for it.
I love her product of the street. But see, and you with your niche of wanderlust, that is needed because I've seen people on here like, man, I wish I had some books where they're traveling, where she finds love. Because the only books they ever mention is what Stella got a groove on.
And you know what? That's kind of where I found my sweet spot of, black romance authors that I fell in love with. Of course, Terry McMillan back in the day with How Stella Got Her Groove Back, that resonated with me. I mean, that book kind of had me in a chokehold for a little while, and and the whole age gap thing about it all. And she put her back into writing that book, and it was not struggle. It was not, it couldn't be put in a box at all. That was just an all around good book about some black folks and real life situations that be happening. So I appreciate that book.
I'm glad you said struggle. And that's another issue with the black community as we will talk about urban fiction, street lit and stuff like this. Like that's struggle of. Baby, that is real shit that be happening in the hood.
Real stuff that happens. it has this category, and there's maybe it doesn't even have a category. I might be speaking illy, and I don't intend to. You know, that's somebody's reality.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't know. We can't be boxed in. I think that's the real point. We need to stop trying to put all these books in a box. I know we have to categorize them in some kind of ways to make them make sense, right? To make it easier for us to be found. But I think once you really pull back or peel back the layers of a lot of the books that we're reading and writing, they transcend genre. Because, yeah.
It's crazy. And over this past year, I done seen so much of that shit. It's ridiculous. I feel like as Black people, we need to embrace the fact we are not a monolith.
That part right
We
there.
need to embrace it, love it, understand it, something. Because we put our own self in boxes and we don't understand that we are falling back into our generational trauma and then keep recreating the wheel and again and again and again instead of just saying, you know what, I am not what they tried to make me.
Sure.
And then here comes all the BS. Oh, urban fiction is too ghetto. Urban fiction is not reality. Contemporary romance, that's just, don't nobody love like that. Interracial romance, Black women don't get loved by people outside of Black men.
What?
These are the stereotypes.
Yeah. And you know what? To really tie it all home, you know, I feel like in any given day, just my own personality is urban, it's contemporary, it's sweet romance. Sometimes it's the villain. And you know, I am all these things, just me, this one person. And so I'm going to write all the characters to be all the things too.
Facts.
And so that's it. Yeah.
Facts. And I love that. So, do you have any other questions for me before I ask you anything else?
Let me see what I got over here. Actually, I think I asked you everything. I was going to sprinkle them in there, but you gave me a platform to just ask my questions. So
I don't mind y'all asking me questions. I enjoy it. I mean, sometimes y'all catch me off guard. I'm like, ooh, me?
Oh, I do want to say one thing that might throw some of y'all off. What I don't want to read, though, I don't know if I want to read about a Black man vampire. I know. Don't kill me. Don't shoot me. Don't throw me out. What? You know why? I'm going to be real honest and don't laugh at me.
If you say vampire in Brooklyn.
No. Okay. Let's think about the depiction of vampire that we've seen. I always saw kind of like pale white man with like a ashy cast to his skin.
No. What about Blade?
Oh, snap. You know what? Rant over.
What
That
about
was one of
Blade?
my favorite trilogies. Let me shut up. You're right. I already seen it. I'm just talking nonsense over here.
I think Twilight, after Twilight had came out, it kind of took us out. They had the one Black guy with the fucked up wig and the ashy skin.
Yes.
That did.
That part. Oh, let me take it even further back to oh my God, what was it?
Don't say Blackula.
Movie. It was a vampire movie with Corey Haim back in the 80s, late 80s.
Oh, you talking about the Lost Boys?
The Lost Boys. Wasn't there like an ashy black vampire? Girl, they had one little ashy black vampire.
I'm dead.
Yes. That kind of stunted me. It scarred me. And so now you said Blade. And oh, by the way, my most favorite Black male actor, Mahershala Ali, is going to play Blade in the new.
Well, you didn't hear what happened.
Oh, no, don't tell me they've canceled it.
He's stepping away from it so he can play the new Jack City Nino. Because they're redoing New Jack City.
You know, this was a great conversation until now. I'm gonna go cry. I'm disappointed.
I was looking forward to it, but yeah.
Me too. Me too. Well, back to my original comment. I don't want to read about no Ashley. I'm back on my platform now. Damn. Let me stop. I'm just joking, y'all. These are.
So before we get out of here, I want to ask you a few more questions. What is a genre that you haven't written in, but you have been eyeing? You've been eyeing that genre.
You know what? My daughter right now is writing a fantasy. She's writing a fantasy, and I'm kind of helping her write that, so it's fun to me. I don't think I'll ever write in the fantasy genre, but I absolutely love reading it, and Black fantasy has me in a chokehold too. So I'm helping her with that, which is it's fun helping her with that. However, I don't think I'll change from romance. It's hard enough trying to be in this one thing and then keep it fresh and tell these stories in different ways. And I travel to every place I write about, so that keeps me really busy. But I really love fantasy, Black fantasy.
Okay. If you can give an inkling of advice, a little nugget for the new author and the older author that may feel like they want to give up, what advice would you give them?
Determine who you're writing for. Determine who you're writing for, and write aimlessly to satisfy who you're writing for. That's it. And if it's you, then write for yourself, and that's okay. If you don't know who you're writing for, I think it'll be a little hard to write, but I think that's exploration and just trying to figure out who you're writing for. And once you determine that, write madly for them.
Okay. Well, on that note, lastly, I need you to tell everybody where they can get your books,
Okay.
your website, and your social handles.
Absolutely. So I would love for you all to purchase any of my books because they're always discounted and they're always signed from my website, www.cherterais.com, CherTerais. But you can also find all of my books on Amazon. You can find them anywhere that you can buy either physical or your or audio books. My first book is in audio on Audible, Spotify, the library. Let's not forget the library. So yeah, I published wide with this last book, so you can find it virtually anywhere.
Okay. Well, she said Libby.
Libby, Hoopla. You can find it on both.
Okay. Well, I just want to say I thank you for taking the time out to speak to me, and I wish you the best of luck. I'm going to be on you because I want you to be at the Boozy Book Tour. And I'm going to send you the information for the person that won.
Please do.
And also, I am going to probably be doing a review when I come back from Houston, not this week, but next week.
Yep.
Of your book, because like I said, that's my playing book.
All right.
So, but thank you.
Thank you for having me. Keep on doing your thing. I watch you every time I come on live. You on live a lot, and I love stopping by and saying hey or jumping in your chat. I try to say hey. I appreciate you having me on here, and everyone don't remember there's a lot of nice things that are happening in 2025. Build community. Find your favorite authors and get in those communities, because the things that these authors are doing, these indie authors are doing some amazing things, not only with the writing, but with the things that are adjacent to the writing. So you can't experience that on Amazon. So find the community.
Facts. So on that note, you have a good evening, and we will speak again.
Thank